Alex Eala has just landed in Chicago, Illinois, and she is there to sign a $30 million deal with Gatorade. $30 million. Let that sink in for a moment. And while that news is spreading across the internet like wildfire, there is a very specific group of people who are feeling something very uncomfortable right now. The haters, the doubters, the ones who spent years telling anyone who would listen that Alex Eala did not belong at the top level of professional tennis. The ones who whispered that she would never make it, that she was just another talented prospect who would fade before reaching the pinnacle of the sport. Every single one of those people is sitting at home right now watching this news break. And the regret is hitting them like a freight train. Because Eala did not just make it, she is signing 30 million deals with one of the most iconic sports brands on the planet. And the most beautiful part about all of this is that this is only the beginning of what promises to be an absolutely legendary career. Gatorade is not a company that just hands out deals worth 30 million to anyone. They're extremely selective about who represents their brand because their endorsement athletes are not just faces on a bottle. They're symbols of excellence, of grit, of the kind of determination that inspires millions of people around the world. When Gatorade comes calling with that kind of money, it means something profound. It means they've looked at Alex Eala and decided, without any doubt, that she is worth every single penny of that investment. They have studied her trajectory, analyzed her market value, and looked closely at the size and passion of her fan base across multiple continents. And honestly, looking at everything she has built, both on and off the court, it is very hard to argue with that conclusion. The deal is reportedly set to run for 2 years, positioning Eala as the face of Gatorade within the WTA. And here is the brilliant part about this move that a lot of people are not talking about enough. Gatorade is not just buying a tennis player with this deal. They are buying access to an entire region and an entire market that has been waiting for exactly this kind of representation. Alex Eala represents something that no other player in the WTA can offer right now. She is the only East Asian player competing at the absolute top flight of women's professional tennis. She carries the hopes and dreams of millions of fans across the Philippines and all of Southeast Asia on her shoulders every single time she steps onto that court. And Gatorade knows exactly what that means in terms of business opportunity and brand expansion. The potential here is enormous. And Gatorade has positioned themselves perfectly to capitalize on every single bit of it. The sports beverage market is currently valued at $17 billion, and projections show that it is set to grow by more than $2 billion by the year 2034. That is an enormous market waiting to be fully captured, and the brands that move fast and align themselves with the right faces are going to dominate that incredible growth. Gatorade has made an incredibly smart business decision here because Alex Eala is the perfect bridge between the sport of tennis and a massive untapped consumer base across Southeast Asia. She is not just an athlete. She is a cultural phenomenon, and every major brand in the world is starting to wake up and realize that in a very serious way. The numbers back it up. The fan base backs it up, and the commercial results of every campaign she has been involved in backs it up. Gatorade saw all of that evidence, and they acted decisively, and now they are about to reap the rewards of that bold and forward-thinking decision in a very big way. And the announcement is not even official yet. Gatorade is reportedly planning to make the big reveal at the BNP Paribas Open next month. Can you imagine what that moment is going to look like? The spotlight, the cameras, the energy in that arena. And then the announcement that one of tennis's most exciting rising stars is now the face of one of the world's most powerful sports beverage companies. The fans are going to go absolutely crazy when that moment arrives. The haters are already scrambling, trying to figure out what to say next. And remember, the official announcement has not even dropped yet. When that moment finally comes, the meltdown from the doubters is going to be absolutely spectacular to witness, and we are all going to be watching it happen in real time. Every person who ever counted Eala out is about to have a very bad day. And honestly, they brought it entirely on themselves by underestimating her from the very start. But here is what those haters never understood about Alex Eala. She was never just playing for trophies. She was building an empire from the very beginning, brick by brick, deal by deal, and win by win. While some people were trying to dismiss her and critics were finding every possible reason to count her out, Eala was quietly stacking deal after deal. She was making moves that would secure her financial future and her legacy for decades to come. The Gatorade deal is massive and historic, but it is not even the only major business move she has made in recent times. Earlier this year, Eala signed an enormous deal with NutriAsia that showed just how sharp her business instincts truly are. Instead of taking a straightforward cash payment like most athletes would simply accept, she negotiated a 2-equity stake in the company. That single decision tells you everything you need to know about how she approaches her career and her future. NutriAsia is currently valued at $240 million, a valuation that has risen nearly 50 compared to last year alone. That means her equity stake is already worth millions of dollars. And as NutriAsia continues to grow and expand, so does her personal wealth automatically. This is not the move of someone who just wants to cash in quickly on their fame. This is the move of someone who is thinking 10, 15, 20 steps ahead and building the kind of generational wealth that will last long after her playing days are over. And then there is the NutriFactor advertisement that completely broke the internet just 4 months ago. That advertisement became one of the most watched ads on all of YouTube, pulling in around 70 million views. 70 million people watched an advertisement. Not a music video, not a blockbuster movie trailer, but an advertisement featuring Alex Eala. That number is almost incomprehensible when you think about it seriously and compare it to what most brands spend trying to achieve that kind of reach. 70 million sets of eyes on a single piece of branded content is the kind of reach that most companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars trying to manufacture. And Eala delivered it almost effortlessly simply by being herself and connecting authentically with her audience. Brands around the entire world saw those numbers rolling in and immediately started making phone calls because those kinds of figures are simply impossible to ignore. No matter how big your company already is, Nike has been paying very close attention to everything happening around Eala, and what they have seen has reportedly convinced the entire organization that she is the future of tennis in the Asian market. Reports suggest that Nike has been moving aggressively to secure her signature, motivated in large part by not wanting a repeat of the deeply painful situation when they lost Coco Gauff to New Balance. That was one of the most costly endorsement mistakes in Nike's recent history, and they have never forgotten it. Gauff went on to become one of the most marketable athletes in the entire sport, and Nike watched all of that enormous value walk right out the door. They're absolutely not making that same mistake with Alex Eala. With New Balance and Adidas also reportedly circling her very aggressively, Nike was not going to sit back and wait around while competitors made their move. The buzz around Eala is simply too loud, too consistent, and too powerful for any major brand to ignore. The numbers being thrown around for the potential Nike deal are staggering. Sources report figures of $45 million over 3 years, with additional bonuses and performance incentives that could push the total value even higher. But perhaps more significant than the raw money is the role itself that is being discussed for Eala within the Nike brand family. This would not be a standard endorsement arrangement by any stretch of the imagination. This is what happens when you keep working, keep grinding, keep believing, and keep proving people wrong day after day. Regardless of what the critics say, the rewards eventually arrive, and when they do, for someone like Alex Eala, they arrive in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. She has developed her game to an elite level and built a brand that genuinely transcends the sport itself. She has connected deeply with fans across the entire globe and positioned herself as a generational talent. To everyone who laughed, who doubted, who tried to hold her back, and who whispered that she would never reach this level, the moment of full reckoning has arrived. The 30 million Gatorade deal is real. The landing in Chicago is real. The empire being built around Alex Eala is very, very real. And the only thing more certain than her continued rise is the regret now consuming every single person who ever made the mistake of betting against her.